Hello, I'm Julia, and for this Mind to Move short, we're going to be looking at some breathing techniques and how to connect our breath with our movement. So there are going to be 3 types of breathing that we're going to be looking at. There is chest breathing, belly breathing, and lateral breathing. So chest breathing is when the breath comes from the chest. This type of breathing is quite shallow and is often how we breathe when we're feeling anxious. Belly breathing is when the breath comes from the belly. This type of breathing is really good for bringing in more oxygen and for relaxation. And lateral breathing is when the breath comes from the rib cage. And this type of breathing is really good for exercise because you can still hold on to your abdominal muscles whilst you breathe, which you can't do with belly breathing. And that is important for exercise because when we hold on to our abdominal muscles, that supports our spine and our body as we move. So useful for anyone who's doing Pilates or anything like that. I'm sure your teacher's already mentioned that it is a helpful focus of breathing to have and to train in. So we're going to begin with an exercise on breathing, and then we will move into how we can connect our breath with our movement. So for the breathing exercise, if you just sit back in your chair and just close your eyes, this really helps with focus. And then place one hand on your chest and then one hand on your belly. And as you're breathing in and out, notice if you can feel one hand moving more than the other. And then take a deep breath in and a slow release out. And notice how that increases the range of movement. Or maybe you can tell now more where you tend to breathe more from naturally. Now we're going to release that hand from our chest and either place it with the other hand on the belly or just relax it onto your thigh. And we're going to focus on some belly breathing. So taking a deep breath in and a slow release out, really bringing the focus to where your hands are and breathing from your belly. And whilst you're doing this, you will feel a rise and fall of your stomach, of your belly. So noticing how your body is already moving in response to your breath. And then place your hands around your ribs. And then we're going to do the same. Take a deep breath in and a slow release out. And notice as you're doing that how the rib cage expands and increases on the in-breath and how it decreases on the out-breath. And so how your hands move out on the in-breath and then come together on the out-breath. So feeling with the lateral breathing how there is an expansion on the in-breath of your rib cage and a decrease on the out-breath. And just relax your hands down. So just with those simple breathing exercises, we can see how our body already responds to our breath. So we just experienced in our body how there is a rise and fall in response to breath, or an expansion and decrease in response to breath. And we're going to do an exercise now in how we can connect that with movement. So what we will be doing is on the in-breath, lifting our arms, and then on the out-breath, lowering our arms. So breathing in and lifting your arms, and on the out-breath, lowering them down to your sides. So on the in-breath, lifting your arms up to the sides, and then lowering them down. And now we can explore this in different directions, lifting your arms forward on the in-breath, and then lowering them down on the out-breath, and again lifting them forward and down. And we can also explore doing this in different directions, like for example to the diagonal, lifting one arm further forward, the other further back, and dropping, lifting your arms to the diagonals and then lowering. So that is just a simple exercise for you, so you can see how you can connect your movement and your breath together. Now, there are some exercises where it is best when you're breathing out to lift rather than to lower. So I would check with your teacher, whatever kind of exercise you're doing, what would be best. For example, those who are lifting weights, that would be recommended to when you're lifting, to do it on the out breath. But for the kind of movement we're doing with Mind to Move, very gentle movement, it can work both ways. I tend to alternate between the two depending on the activity that we're doing. So if we're doing quite dynamic flowing movement, I will follow the in-breath, the lifting and the dropping. And if we're doing more relaxation and very minimal movement, I may do the opposite, and that's in response to, so when you breathe in, you're drawing breath in and then you're releasing it out into the space. So some people like to respond with movement of bringing the movement in on the in-breath and then out on the out-breath, which is opposite to what we were just doing. So these are two different ways of responding and connecting your breath to your movement. So you may want to explore both and see what you find comfortable and what works for you. I hope you found this video helpful and useful for your practice, and yeah, I look forward to having you join at the next one. Okay, bye for now.